I mean, come on. What the hell is stress? Who's got a good answer? Marlia, you got a good answer for what stress is? Okay, next. Rick, what do you got?
Life.
Life is stressful. I got it. What about you, Terry?
Health.
Health is stressful. What about yours? What's your stress?
Children.
What is stress? Oh, there's the big question, isn't it? Anxiety is stress? Okay. But you have to figure...
Things aren't going the way you want them to go.
Okay, I like it. Things aren't going. What else?
Money.
Money. That's a stimulator of stress. So let me tell you this. This couldn't be any easier. Stress is this. Only this. You got it? It's your opinion of what the hell's going on and nothing else. Nothing else. Your son is now in the military, correct? He joins the military. Do you freak out over it?
Yes.
You stressing?
Yes.
That's your interpretation. Anybody else have any military people in their family? You do? Are you stressed that your person's in the military? So you two are kind of living off the same thing, right? You have a tendency to put meanings towards certain things, and that's what you live with for the rest of your life. And where did you come up with the meaning that your son's life was in danger? Something you witnessed on television, something you learned in history. But what you didn't know, hi Chris, come on in, hi. What you didn't know is that didn't know, what you would want to be maybe shifting it towards is that military people protect others. They're the great protectors of other people who can't protect themselves. And your children or your husbands, whoever it was, that's what they signed up for. But you're stressed to the max, feeling like shit while you're at home, falling apart, while your son is out there saving the world. The question is, what does it mean for him to be in the military? It means everything to you. No, I'm just saying. You can change that meaning anytime you want by changing what you think it's all about. So in your lifetime, each one of us has been taught what to think, right? Mom and dad, didn't they teach you how to think? Now, you're an adult and you can think any way you want, but you're still going to do it the way you were taught, right? You were taught something, you were taught to think a certain way, and that's what you're dealing with today. Did you know that a 6-year-old, let's call it a 6-year-old son, who's got children? Raise your hand if you got kids. Okay, your 6-year-old kid has already got all the programming for stress that he or she's ever going to need. Guess where he or she got it from? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Guess where you got it? Mom and dad. And guess where they got it? From grandma and grandpa, right? It just feeds itself over. The question is, could we change that? Of course we could. Now the question is, how do we do that? And what is it going to take to be able to accomplish that? So let me ask you this. Take a look at these. Sleep deprivation, media overload, poor nutrition, relationships, job pressure, money, and health. Take a good look at it, and I want you to try to figure out what is the number one thing that promotes stress in humans.
Sleep deprivation.
Okay, raise your hand if it's sleep deprivation. Number one. The number one thing, which is it? Is it sleep? You say relationships, okay? Who wants to put a hand up on the media overloading them? Okay, who wants to go with poor nutrition? Ah, who wants to go with relationships? Oh, if you're with your spouse, you better be careful. How about job pressure? Yeah. How about money? Oy. How about health? Hey. Sorry, fellas, undeniably, 100%. It is work, job pressure that pumps anything else. It's far ahead of everything else. And all those other things are hinged off this. If it's relationships and you go to work, and work is a pain in your butt, you're going to bring it home, aren't you? Yep. And if you go to work, you need to make money, and you're not making enough money, so money's still part of what? It's still part of work. Job pressure is the worst damn thing that you'll ever deal with. Now, how many of you guys like your jobs? Okay, good. How many of you dread going to work? That's a different story, right? Yeah, because think about what is the big stress at work. It's the people. If you didn't have to deal with people, there ain't no stress. Humans cause human stress. You walk into a job, you went to school, you got a degree, you walk in there like, epic-ki-yay, I'm making $67,000 on my first day, $140,000 on my third day, life is grand, but you work next to the little piglet factory over here. People who are disgusting, they don't take care of themselves, they don't clean up after them, and they fart most of the day. And you're like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna have to deal with this all day long? What's your meaning? Because you placed the meaning to those people. You said, you know what? I don't like him or her, they're disrespectful, they never speak to me, and therefore I shun them. So I ask you this question, how do you get over stress? How about this? Hey, I know we don't talk too much, but I want to meet you and I want to meet your family. I know something about you, so I brought you a coffee. Meanwhile, my brain is saying, I hate that son of a bitch. And then he says, wow, I'm glad that you came and spoke to me because I've been feeling so anxious and stressed out about being here that I haven't made any friends because I don't know how. Thank you for being my friend. And you go home and go, oh my God, was I wrong? I was all screwed up in this whole approach. Stress is simply what the hell you say it is. And if you don't want to be stressed, then don't. Change the meaning of the word stress by changing the meaning to the events that are happening in your life. Plain and simple. Now, I'll give you an example. I hope this never happens to you ever in your life. You are at work and you get a phone call and it's your accountant. You're getting audited and it's pretty probable that you're going to have to pay a $20,000 fine. You happy?
No.
You stressed? Okay, now you're stressed. He's thinking about maybe money. Terry hears that he's got something on his skin that's not healthy because he said health. Somebody else said children. Somebody else, all this stuff is going on, right? All around you. You're like, what the hell? Now, after you put a meaning to that, the phone rings and it's your wife. And you are ripping the moment with her about the stress that you just created based on the IRS coming to your home and they're going to charge you $20,000 in arrears. And your wife says, hold on, Mark, Mark! You're like, what? I have breast cancer. What? Is that call from the IRS still stressful?
No.
Nope. But it was a little while ago, wasn't it? Didn't he call all his college roommates and go, son of a bitches, they got me, and I can't talk politics. What a bummer. I would have thrown that in there. So realistically, you can create any type of stress that you want. So there's a couple of things that you should know. You are going to create it. What if you had somebody that died and passed away? That would be brutal for any of us, right? And if it has happened to anybody, I'm sorry. So if that happens, how do you get over that stress, doctor? You don't. You got it, and I'm sorry you got it. The thing is, let's not make any if we can deal without making it. That's the most important thing. Don't make it. You're only making it because you tell yourself that this is the way it is. And I've known you since the second grade up there at the Felton Street School. And I know you very well. So guess what? You make stress up along the way. Oh, darn. You guys are going to love this. I go over to Bacon Spirits up the street, and this is my friend here who works at Bacon's. And every time I walk in, she's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't help you right now. Sir, please go over there. She jumps over the counter, jumps up on top of me. She's got her legs wrapped around me. I love you. I'm like, okay, is that stressful?
Actually, no.
Yeah. See, now you're talking. It's not stressful. Listen, that's the biggest word I know in the world. That's the number one word. It's perspective. It always is perspective. Nothing else can trump perspective. What you say it is what it is. How long have you two been married? When she says something, it's right, you're wrong.
Correct.
Bingo. There you go. She's always going to be right because your perspective is such that as long as Terry gets what she wants, which it doesn't matter to you, she'll be happy, she'll know you love her, and you got a good relationship. So does your relationship have stress? Yeah. How much? Not a lot, right? But enough. Because every family can't get along. Look what you created over here. There's more stress. You're creating even more. So the idea is you're going to make stress, but try not to make too much of it. You can't buy stress at Amazon, can you, Darlene? No. Impossible to buy it online. Chris, can you get it from Bacon Spirits? No. You have to manufacture it. That's always what it's been about, the manufacturing of it. Now, what happens to your body when you have stress? Does anybody know? Give me one thing. Go ahead, Roberta. Your neck hurts like crap. Let's take a look at it. What do you think? What's this? Oh, it's killing her. All right, so the idea is this. She's got a symptom from stress, does she not? How many of you guys have headaches and neck pain? What do you think you got it from? A bad hamburger?
Bad posture.
Bad posture? Do you work, by the way? I don't mean to be insulting you, but do you work? Okay. What's the number one stressor that makes people really freak out? Work. And what's the number one symptom of people who go to work and have stress? Neck pain, headache. They walk around like this. It's like driving the car on the way to work in January. It's like, my God, I don't know, Robin, do you know anybody like that? She comes in my office, I adjust her. She's like this, and then I adjust her down. And then I go, wait a minute. And then I get this one, and I work on it, and it goes like this. I can't seem to get ahead of the game with her. She's stressing on simple levels that are kind of funny. But I'm telling you this, the minute you have a stressful event or a stress that's coming over you, you're going to release adrenaline into your bloodstream. It's going to pour into the stream, and then it's going to elevate your heart rate and speed it up really fast. Then when it does that, your respiration is going to climb with it. Okay, holy shit. Oh my God, somebody's in my house. Oh my God, I just heard a brick come through the downstairs window. I can't call 911 because I can't hold the damn phone. Everything's jacked up, right? And you need this stress. You need to feel this way because it's time to fight for your life, right? So what do you have to do? You got to get blood into your muscles. Where are you going to get it from? You're going to get it from the heart and the lungs that are pumping the shit out of it, right? And where does it have to go? To the brain. Your pupils get bigger. Your ears open up. Everything is moving faster to pull in as much information as you can possibly pull in. You look like a kid with ADD and ADHD with the pupils this big, you know? They look like this. This is what's happening to you. You're like, holy crap. I can't believe I'm feeling this. And here's where it gets really interesting. Your blood's going to thicken so you don't bleed to death. You're going to pump endorphins into the blood so it doesn't hurt when you get beat by whatever's coming at you. And the worst thing of all, it's going to take all the blood out of your intestines. And it's going to put it all in your muscles and brain so you're ready to fight. By the way, it shuts your intestines off. That means that if you got anything, you guys catching my drift, right? If you got anything brewing in there, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be, and here's the term, scared shitless. Because people, when they are really scared, how many of you guys have watched Gladiator, the movie? I love that movie, right? How about when the first time he's about to go out and fight in the forum there, and the little dude looks like an accountant. He's looking in the mirror going, oh my God, I'm going to die. What does he do? He pisses himself. Do humans piss themselves when they're under high stress? Yes, they do. Can they stop it? Nope. Unless they do what? Change the meaning of the stress. So some of our stressors are easy to change, but some of them are very difficult. And I didn't mean to play too much fun with your child. I know you love your son more than life itself, and having the thought of him being overseas or that, I get it. But you have to, somewhere along the way, find yourself not perseverating on that. Because if you do, what you're about to find out, you're going to wreck your body and die sooner. Who wants to die soon? Nobody. Who wants to live fantastically? Everybody does. Who wants to not do this, Robin? This would be a whole lot better, but it's not at this moment because we make assumptions. So, check this out. Anybody got one of these?
Yep.
Yep. Who doesn't? Increased secretion of cortisol, which is your stress hormone. It forces your body to simply make belly fat. And when you make belly fat, the belly fat isn't called fat. It's called vat, like a German. You have this vat around your waist. What is vat? Visceral adipose tissue. Viscera, does it mean organs or pizza? Organs, not pizza. But if you eat too much pizza, you get like this. So your organ structures, they become damaged over time when your belly fat is like this because all the chemicals in the belly fat, they rush to your organs and overwhelm them. And then you get high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, stroke. That's all happening from what? Stress. Like, okay, you just read a book. Yeah, it's called a 30-year book. For 30 years, I've been treating sick people who are pain sufferers. I've been freaking dealing with pain and suffering my whole life, every single day. And what do I notice about it? Nobody falls off a 12-story ladder and shows up at the car quacker's office. They show up here when they've got ulcerative colitis and they're bleeding out their bum. They show up here when they're dizzy and spinning. They show up here after a stroke. Where do they get all those things? That's been my question all these years. Where did you get that? Where did that come from? It came from the stress of your life. You didn't realize it, but you created the whole damn thing on your own. How many know what that is? DNA. And for the $1 million question, what does DNA stand for? It means for holy shit, I need this stuff. Say it again. Ready? Go. Okay, we got to. You can always tell somebody who wants to give an answer, but it's not quite. It's deoxyribonucleic acid. But good job. At least you're on point here. Anybody know why that's important to us? Because it makes all your proteins. By the way, everything, Darlene, everything about you, all the messengers in your body that are talking to everybody, they're all proteins. And who makes them? The nucleus makes them. Without the nucleus and those DNAs, you're in big trouble. So here's where it gets really, 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 really interesting when it comes to stress. So, who's heard of a telomere? We got a couple telomere people. But if you don't know a telomere, you're going to show your age by knowing this. I live in Hudson, Massachusetts. We used to have a place down here called, Rick, what was the place with the Webster's, the shoe place? You guys remember that if you lived around here, right? So you go, you crawl into the big box, right? You pull out your favorite pair of $2 pair of sneakers, which are now $100 because everything comes back more expensive, right? And you know the tip of the sneaker lace? What's on that? Just a little plastic tip in the old days, right? And if it fell off, what would happen to the strand of your lace? It'd fray, right? And then what did you have to do, darling? You had to tie a knot in it, so it wouldn't go any further. Then you try to put it through the hole in the sneaker, and it wouldn't fit, you're yanking it, then you break it again. And then you call, Mom, I need new sneakers. She goes, no, not happening. I'm not stressing over buying you new sneakers. So the telomere is going to be the key. It is the cap of the DNA. And I want you to know this, that all cells cannot live forever. Cells don't usually live past 120 days. And what happens when they die? They replace themselves. That's all they do. And every time they replace themselves, Terry, the telomere, which you're about to see right there at the end, it gets shorter and smaller. Now watch what happens to that telomere. This is a person under heavy stress. Watch what happens to it. Nothing. I lied. No. What is it doing? Oh, it's falling apart. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's falling apart. Now watch what happens at the very end. Webster sneakers. Oh, shit. The DNA just unraveled before it did what? Before it replicated into another cell. Terry, 50 million. Terry, 50 million. How many billion? How many cells are there in the body? I mean 50 billion. How many cells are in the body?
50 billion.
Damn straight, that's what I'm talking about, my man. 50 billion cells. But if the 50 billion cells are under the onslaught of your high stress and cortisol hormones, which are stress hormones, they simply go over to your DNA and they shorten and they reduce the size of the telomere. Now the telomere is going to get smaller every year of your life. For every time a cell has to divide to replace itself, the other one dies and the body takes care of it. And here's a new one. Yay, 120 days. Ooh, I'm dying. Make another one. Hey, just keeps going on and on and on. But every time you do that, the telomere is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So at 97 years of age, you take your last breath. And it's a, hit off a joint. But anyway, your last breath. And it's your last breath. And now what? You get to pass on, right? But you don't want to do this at 45, do you? I mean, raise your hand if you know somebody or someone that know somebody that has lost someone between 40 and 55 years of age in the last 2 years. In the last 5. I don't care if you've known anybody. What the heck are these people succumbing to? This is what I asked in my business for 30 years. What are they succumbing to? Stress. It's a stress-induced world. Did you know that 93% of doctor visits are associated with the patient's stress? 93%. And that doesn't matter what the diagnosis is. They can always trace it back to the stress that goes with it. So by looking at this and watching the telomere get smaller and smaller and smaller, I want you to know something about the telomere as it gets smaller and the cell dies. This work won a Nobel Prize. This isn't some Reader's Digest bullshit. This comes from the Nobel Prize winner Elizabeth Blackburn from the New University of California, San Francisco. She found that with her colleagues and said, holy shit, the DNA has a cap. What do we do with it? I don't know. Nobody knew what to do with it, but it sounded good, right?
When did she find it?
She found it in 2010 or 11. And so it's recent. So she's at the UCSF, right? She's up there and a woman walks in the office. Boom, 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 boom. Can I see you, Dr. Blackburn? Yes. My name is Melissa Apple. She goes, oh, I know you, Melissa. She's a neuropsychiatrist or psychologist. She works for the university. She says, I heard about your research and I read it. And I'm massively intrigued about what it's going to do to people in their body when they're under stress. What do you know about the telomere and cortisol stress hormones? She goes, whoa, I don't know anything, but we're gonna get a grant, we're gonna find out about it. So they do, and this is what they did. They took a dozen women who were parents to children who had had serious health issues, whether it was autism, whether childhood cancers, it was ADD, ADHD, kids who were really struggling. And that's a mom with more kids, right? She had more kids at home. So she is under serious stress. This isn't like, geez, my nails didn't dry fast enough kind of stress. This is major stress. So what Blackburn did is she said, give me these women and I'm going to measure their telomeres. And she measured all 12 and 11 of them, they were so small and so little that she calculated that they were dying at a rate of 6 times faster than anybody else on the planet. Whew. Except for one woman who they did psychological profiles on her, and she was the only one who was like, I will fight back. Nobody's taking my shit down. I'll do whatever you say, but I'm a tough son of a bitch, and I love my kids, and I'm gonna make it happen. So her telomeres were longer than everybody else's in the group. So Apple takes them all together. And he says, listen, if you had to be with Rick for the rest of your life, you'd need therapy for a lot more years, right? So if you could go sit with other people that lived through the same thing that you lived through, you'd be in the right place, right? Talking to other women who were parents, who had children, who had dealing with suffering, you'd get it. It would make sense. And in those moments, while you're getting it, something amazing is happening. Over a 12-week period, the damn telomeres grew back. They grew back. They literally grew back. And when Melissa Epple came along and studied the entire thing, she said, there's two pieces to the puzzle that brought it all back. And it was compassion and caring, which you're going to find out in a second because I'm going to hit that for a moment. Compassion and caring were the two integers which they exhibited every damn day, and the telomere over 12 weeks went right back to normal. Their 6 times faster aging had stopped dramatically, and they went back to being who they were. Now check